The royal palace of Xiria towered above the crystal forests like a mountain of obsidian and silver beneath twin moons. The structure had stood for thousands of years home to generations of the imperial bloodline, each ruler more powerful than the last, but none as mysterious as Princess Lyra. Princess Lyra moved through the palace corridors like a ghost, her face perpetually concealed behind an ornate veil of shimmering material that changed colors with her moods. The citizens of Xiria whispered about her hidden features. Some said she was too beautiful to behold, others claimed she bore the marks of ancient prophecy. Most believed the veil concealed something terrifying. Whatever the truth, no one dared ask. No one approached her. No one touched her. No one tried to bond with her. Xirian bonding was sacred, a telepathic connection that linked two souls forever. The princess remained unbonded and alone until the human delegation arrived. Kimberly Johnson never intended to become an interstellar diplomat. She had been a librarian in Portland when the Xirians made first contact with Earth seeking knowledge and cultural exchange. Her expertise in archiving information made her valuable to the diplomatic team. Now she stood in the grand hall of an alien palace millions of light years from home, feeling painfully ordinary among the tall, elegant Xirians with their luminescent skin and graceful movements. The formal introductions dragged on for hours. Kimberly tried not to fidget as ambassadors, and officials exchanged elaborate greetings. Then suddenly the crowd parted and whispers rippled through the assembly. Princess Lyra had arrived. The princess moved with ethereal grace, her gown flowing like liquid starlight around her tall form. The veil covering her face shimmered with blues and purples, shifting like aurora lights. Her six-fingered hands remained clasped tightly before her. Kimberly felt a strange pull toward the alien royal. Something about her isolation resonated with Kimberly, who had always felt like an outsider herself. Without thinking, she took a step forward. Ambassador Diane Walters grabbed her arm, hissing low under her breath. No one approaches the princess without invitation. But it was too late. The princess had noticed, Kimberly, her veiled face turning toward the human. The entire hall fell silent as Princess Lyra approached. Kimberly felt sweat bead on her forehead as the princess towered over her. The alien royal stood nearly 7 feet tall, making Kimberly feel like a child in comparison. For several heartbeats, they simply regarded one another. Then Princess Lyra extended one 6-fingered hand. The telltale sign of an invitation to bond. Gasps echoed through the hall. Ambassador Walters looked horrified. Chief Diplomat Samantha Lewis stepped forward, attempting to intervene, but Princess Lyra raised her other hand. Silencing her, "Her choice has been made," said a melodic voice that seemed to originate inside Kimberly's mind, rather than from behind the veil. Kimberly knew the significance of bonding with an alien royal. It would mean leaving Earth behind, perhaps forever. It would mean sharing thoughts and emotions across species barriers. No human had ever bonded with a Xirian royal, yet something in that mental voice called to her a profound loneliness that matched her own. Kimberly reached out and placed her 5 fingers against the 6 long violet ones of the princess. The connection blazed between them like wildfire. Electric sensation raced up Kimberly's arms, spreading throughout her body. Images flooded her mind, ancient forests, spanning continents, wars fought with light and thought, civilizations rising and falling across millennia. The weight of royal responsibility crushed down upon her thoughts, yet beneath it all ran a current of desperate loneliness. In return, she felt the princess moving through her memories. The small apartment filled with books, the parents who never understood her, the friends who drifted away, the quiet nights spent reading instead of socializing, the dreams of something more. When the initial rush subsided, Kimberly found herself still standing, though her legs trembled. The princess remained before her, their hands still connected. The bond is true. Princess Lyra communicated directly into Kimberly's mind. "Will you accept what comes with it?" Kimberly nodded before she could consider all implications. "I will." Princess Lyra released her hand and reached for her veil. The assembly gasped collectively. Several guards stepped forward but froze at a gesture from the princess. "No Xirian has seen my face since childhood. She projected her thoughts, now audible to everyone in the hall. The prophecy forbids it until I find my true bonded. With deliberate movements, she lifted the veil. Kimberly stared in wonder. The princess face was unlike any Xerian she had seen. Instead of the typical smooth violet features and large, solid-colored eyes, Princess Lyra appeared almost human. Her eyes held pupils and irises swirling, with galaxy patterns. Her skin shimmered with constellations that shifted and moved like stars in night sky. Her features were delicate, almost fragile compared to other Xerians. "You are like me," the princess whispered into Kimberly's mind. The prophecy foretold a half-blood princess born of ancient experiments when Xerians visited Earth millennia ago. For generations, my ancestors have awaited the human who could complete our bond. For generations, I have hidden my shameful features. But now, you are. Here whispers erupted around them. Some Xerians backed away while others dropped to their knees. The human delegation looked confused, except for Samantha Lewis, whose expression darkened with understanding. "They intended this all along," she murmured. "This is why they contacted Earth." Princess Lyra extended her hand again. This time Kimberly took it without hesitation. "The ancient stories tell of a bonded pair who will unite our worlds and face the coming darkness," Princess Lyra explained as they touched. "All of space trembles at the approach of the Void Eaters. Only together can we hope to survive." Through their connection, Kimberly saw glimpses of vast shadow beings moving between stars, consuming light and life. Something ancient and hungry approached both their worlds. "I know nothing about fighting monsters or saving civilizations," Kimberly admitted. The princess smiled for the first time, her constellation freckles twinkling. "No one does until they must. But you have courage hidden beneath your quiet exterior. I have waited lifetimes for someone brave enough to see beyond my veil." Ambassador Walters stepped forward. "This is highly irregular," she protested. "Our agreement said nothing about bonding or prophecies." The Xerian Prime Minister approached, his tall form bowing slightly to Princess Lyra. "The princess has chosen," he stated, "the ancient laws supersede all treaties. The human must remain." Kimberly felt panic rising. This was happening too fast. She looked at the princess, finding unexpected comfort in those star-filled eyes. "I will not force you," Princess Lyra projected privately to Kimberly. "But know that without you both our worlds face extinction. The choice must be yours, freely given." Kimberly thought of her small apartment, her books, her ordinary life. She thought of planets filled with people unaware of the cosmic horror approaching. She thought of the strange, beautiful princess who had waited centuries for someone brave enough to look upon her face. Her decision crystallized like a star being born. "I choose to stay," she announced, her voice stronger than she expected. "I accept the bond and whatever comes with it." 3 days later, Kimberly stood in the ceremonial chamber of the ancient temple. The walls were carved with symbols that seemed to shift and change when she looked directly at them. The air smelled of sweet incense, and something metallic like ozone before a storm princess. Lyra waited at the center of a circular platform, dressed in ceremonial robes of midnight blue with silver embroidery. Her face remained unveiled since their first meeting, her star-filled skin glowing softly in the dim light. The royal elders surrounded them, 12 ancient Xerians with skin so pale it was almost translucent. Their eyes held the wisdom of centuries as they regarded the human who would bond with their princess. The ceremony began with chanting low and melodic sounds that vibrated through Kimberly's bones. The elders moved in synchronized patterns around them, creating complex formations that seemed to bend the light. Grand Elder Maya approached, carrying a crystal bowl filled with luminescent liquid. "Drink," she commanded, handing it first to Princess Lyra. The princess sipped, then passed it to Kimberly. The liquid tasted like honey and starlight. Warmth spread through Kimberly's body, making her skin tingle and her mind expand. She could suddenly perceive the energy patterns of everyone in the room, flowing and interconnecting. "Take her hands," Elder Maya instructed. "Princess." Lyra extended both hands, palms up. Kimberly placed her smaller human hands in the princess, 6-fingered ones. They fit together perfectly like they were designed for each other. The bond that began with your first touch must now be completed, Elder Maya intoned. Let your minds become one. Let your souls intertwine. Let your destinies merge. Kimberly felt the princess' presence in her mind growing stronger, deeper. Their thoughts began to blend, memories flowing freely between them. She saw Lyra's childhood isolated and feared because of her different appearance. She felt the loneliness of centuries, spent hiding behind a veil waiting for a prophecy that might never come true. In return, Princess Lyra experienced Kimberly's life. The simple joys of Earth, the comfort of books, the pain of never quite belonging, the yearning for something extraordinary. Their consciousness expanded beyond the physical realm. As their bond deepened, they suddenly found themselves standing together in a vast space filled with stars and nebulae. This is the mindscape. Princess Lyra explained, her mental voice clear and intimate. The place where bonded pairs can meet regardless of physical distance. Here we are truly one. A darkness moved at the edge of the mindscape, something massive and hungry. Kimberly felt terror rising in her throat as she sensed its ancient malevolence. What is that? She asked a void eater. Princess Lyra replied grimly. They exist between dimensions, feeding on light and life. This one is just a scout. The main horde approaches. They will devour both our worlds unless we stop them. How can we possibly fight? Something like that. The princess mind enveloped Kimberly with warmth and reassurance. With the power of our bond, my people have an ancient connection to cosmic energies, but it has weakened over generations. Your human spirit contains something we lost long ago. Together we can access powers neither species can alone. The darkness in the mindscape surged forward, suddenly aware of their presence. It moved with terrifying speed, reaching out with tendrils of pure shadow. Now, Princess Lyra commanded, focus your will with mine. Instinctively, Kimberly pushed her consciousness against the princess. Their energies merged, creating a blinding light that pushed back the darkness. The Void Eater recoiled, shrieking in a frequency that hurt Kimberly's mind. Before it retreated, they snapped back to physical reality, collapsing to their knees in the ceremonial chamber. Their hands remained clasped, both of them breathing heavily. The Grand Elder stood before them, her ancient face lined with concern. It comes sooner than we predicted, she said. The scout has sensed your bond. It will alert the others. How long do we have? Kimberly asked Elder. Maya looked grim. 3 lunar cycles. Perhaps less. You must prepare. The future of both our worlds depends on your bond, Princess. Lyra squeezed Kimberly's hands. We will be ready, she promised. That night, in her new quarters adjoining the Princess Royal Chambers, Kimberly sat staring out at the alien sky. The twin moons cast silver light across the crystal forests while stars, unknown to Earth, glittered overhead. Her mind buzzed with the residual connection to Princess Lyra. Though no longer in direct contact, she could feel the princess' presence like a warm glow at the edge of her consciousness. A soft knock sounded at her door. Come in, she called, knowing who it was before the door opened. Princess Lyra entered, her starry skin luminous in the moonlight. Are you well? She asked, her mental voice brushing gently against Kimberly's thoughts. Just overwhelmed, Kimberly admitted. Yesterday I was a librarian. Today I'm bonded to an alien princess preparing to fight cosmic horrors. It's a lot to process. Princess Lyra moved gracefully across the room to sit beside Kimberly. The sensation of her presence intensified as she drew near. I understand, she replied. I was born knowing my destiny. But you had yours thrust upon you without warning. Kimberly turned to look at the princess. Her galaxy eyes shimmered with empathy. I keep thinking of Earth, she confessed. My parents, my friends. They have no idea what's coming. Will they be protected? Princess Lyra nodded solemnly. If we succeed, all worlds will be safe. If we fail, none will survive. The Void Eaters consume entire realities, not just planets. What exactly are these Void Eaters? Kimberly asked. Ancient beings from the space between dimensions. Princess Lyra explained. They feed on energy consciousness, life itself. They move from universe to universe, leaving nothing behind. Once every 10,000 years, they migrate through our reality. The last time they came, the combined powers of 13 bonded pairs barely drove them back. Only one pair survived, and now it's just us. The princess took Kimberly's hand. Our bond is different, stronger. The elders sensed it during the ceremony. A human and Xerian half-blood together creates something unprecedented. Kimberly tried to process this information. So what happens? Now training begins tomorrow. Princess Lyra replied. We must learn to harness our combined energy. We have weeks, not years, to master what others took lifetimes to achieve. The next morning, Kimberly found herself in a vast underground chamber. The walls were made of a strange reflective crystal that seemed to amplify the light from hovering orbs. The floor was covered in intricate patterns that pulsed with energy. Elder Maya and 3 younger Xerians waited with Princess Lyra. The princess had exchanged her formal robes for a fitted training suit that accentuated her tall, slender form. Kimberly wore a similar outfit specially made for her human proportions. We begin with meditation, Elder Maya announced. Bonded energy flows most freely through calm, disciplined minds. For hours they sat facing each other, hands clasped, focusing on their breathing and the flow of energy between them. Kimberly struggled at first, her human mind wandering constantly to worries about Earth, about the Void Eaters, about her strange new life. But gradually, under Elder Maya's guidance, she learned to quiet her thoughts, to feel the subtle currents of energy flowing through her body and into Princess Lyra. By the 3rd day, Kimberly could maintain perfect mental harmony. With the princess for several hours, they moved together in synchronized patterns, learning to channel their combined energy through their bodies and outward. By the end of the first week, they could create small orbs of light between their palms, manifestations of their bonded power. By the 2nd week, they could move objects with their combined will, yet Elder Maya remained concerned. You are progressing faster than expected, she told them. But it may not be fast enough. The scout has summoned. Others' sensors have detected void rifts forming at the edge of our solar system. Kimberly felt fear clawing at her throat. How many, she asked. Too many. Elder Maya replied grimly. At least 7 mature Void Eaters. Perhaps more. Princess Lyra squeezed Kimberly's hand. We must accelerate our training, she said. We need to attempt the Celestial Merge. Elder Maya looked alarmed. That technique is dangerous for even fully trained pairs, she protested. You could lose yourselves completely. What is the Celestial Merge? Kimberly asked. Princess Lyra turned to her, explaining gently. It is the highest form of bonded connection, a complete merging of consciousness and energy. It amplifies power exponentially, but requires perfect harmony. If either mind resists, even slightly, both could be destroyed. Kimberly swallowed hard. But you think we need to try it? The princess nodded. I believe in our bond. I believe in you. That night they prepared in Princess Lyra's private meditation chamber. The room was designed to enhance psychic connections with crystals that resonated at the frequency of thought. The air was perfumed with herbs known to expand consciousness. They sat cross-legged facing each other, knees touching. Princess Lyra placed her 6-fingered hands against Kimberly's. Breathe with me, she instructed. Let everything else fall away. Focus only on our connection. Kimberly closed her eyes, matching her breathing to the princess. She felt their heartbeats synchronizing, their energies beginning to flow together more completely than ever before. Now, Princess Lyra whispered, open your mind completely. No barriers, no fear. Surrender to the bond. Kimberly let go of her final mental walls. The sensation was terrifying and exhilarating. She felt herself dissolving, expanding, becoming something greater than her individual self. She was Kimberly and Lyra, simultaneously experiencing both perspectives. Their consciousness rose higher, expanding beyond the palace, beyond the planet. Their merged awareness spread through the solar system. Then suddenly they sensed them, 7 Void Eaters, massive beings of anti-light moving through the darkness between planets. Their hunger was a palpable force, a vacuum pulling at all living energy. But beyond the seven, they sensed something else, something immense. A void mother, ancient and vast, waiting beyond the heliopause. Its consciousness touched theirs briefly, alien and malevolent. "We see you." It seemed to say, "We hunger. We come terror." Nearly broke their connection, but Princess Lyra's strength steadied them. "Focus," she urged. "We must test our power while we remain undetected, together." They reached out toward the smallest void eater, gathering their merged energy and projecting it like a spear of light. The creature recoiled as the energy struck it. Its darkness dimmed momentarily before recovering. It worked. Kimberly thought excitedly. "Only partially," Princess Lyra corrected. "We wounded it, but barely. And now they know we can fight." As if sensing their thoughts, all seven void eaters turned simultaneously toward the planet. Their movement accelerated. The void mother stirred, pushing more of its consciousness into this reality. "We must return," Princess Lyra decided. "We need to warn the elders. They come sooner than expected." Carefully, they pulled their merged consciousness back, retracing their expansion until they were once again aware of their physical bodies. The separation was jarring, painful, like being torn in half. Kimberly gasped as she returned fully, to herself, collapsing forward into Princess Lyra's arms. They held each other, trembling with exhaustion and residual fear. "We need to prepare the defense systems," Princess Lyra said urgently. "They will reach Xeria within days, not weeks." Kimberly nodded, trying to stand but finding her legs too weak. The princess lifted her effortlessly, her alien strength undiminished by their ordeal. Together they made their way to the council chamber where the elders waited. The ancient defense systems of Xeria had not been activated in 10,000 years. Massive crystalline structures, long dormant, rose from beneath the surface of the planet, forming a network of energy collectors and projectors. The technology was beyond anything Kimberly could comprehend, seemingly operating on principles that defied physics as humans understood it. The citizens were evacuated to underground shelters built into the bedrock of the planet. 5,000 years of preparation for this very threat had created a civilization ready to go into hiding at a moment's notice. Princess Lyra and Kimberly stood at the central control nexus, a towering spire of living crystal that pulsed with energy. The 13 royal elders formed, a circle around them, their ancient forms glowing with power as they channeled their life force into the defense grid. "We can slow them, but not stop them," Elder Maya explained. "Only the bonded pair can deliver the killing blow, and you must target the Void Mother. The children will retreat if their parent falls." Kimberly looked at the tactical display showing the approaching Void Eaters. Their massive forms appeared as moving holes in reality, absorbing all light and energy around them. They would reach the outer atmosphere within hours. "This is our only chance," Princess Lyra said softly. "Once they begin feeding on the planet, we won't have enough energy left to fight them." Kimberly squeezed the princess' hand. "What do we need to do?" "We must perform the celestial merge again, but this time we will channel our energy through the defense grid. It will amplify our power exponentially, but what?" Princess Lyra looked at her solemnly. "It may burn us out completely. Even if we succeed, we might not survive." Kimberly felt fear twisting in her stomach, but also a strange calm certainty. Earth would be next if they failed. Everyone she had ever known would die. Her parents, her friends, the entire human race wiped from existence. "Let's do it," she said. They took their positions at the center of the control nexus, Princess Lyra, in her ceremonial battle armor of silver and sapphire. Kimberly in a modified version made to fit her human form. They clasped hands as the elders began chanting ancient words of power. The merge came easier this time, their minds joining smoothly as they surrendered to the bond. Their consciousness expanded, flowing into the crystal network, feeling its vast power. It was like having nerves extending throughout the entire planet. "We are ready." Princess Lyra communicated. Elder Maya gave the command. "Activate the shield." The defense grid hummed to life. A dome of iridescent energy formed over the planet, not as a barrier, but as a detection system. Every disturbance, in space-time would be instantly felt. The first Void Eater reached the outer atmosphere, its darkness spread like oil on water, absorbing the light from Xeria's twin suns. The temperature dropped precipitously as it began to feed. Now Princess Lyra commanded. Their merged consciousness gathered energy from the crystal network, focusing it into a lance of pure light. They struck at the Void Eater with precision. The creature writhed as the energy pierced its form. Its darkness fluttered like torn fabric, revealing the empty vacuum within. It recoiled, shrieking in frequencies that shattered crystal and made the defense grid fluctuate. "One down," Princess Lyra noted. "But 6 more approach, and we have already used 1/5 of our reserves." They struck again and again, each Void Eater requiring more energy than the last to wound and drive back. The fourth managed to breach the lower atmosphere before they could target it, its darkness spreading over a small continent, freezing oceans and killing forests instantly before they finally pushed it back. After the 6th Void Eater retreated, Kimberly felt their energy dangerously depleted. The defense grid flickered, areas shutting down as crystals cracked under the strain. Their merged consciousness began to fray at the edges. "We can't stop the last one," Princess Lyra realized with horror, "and the Void Mother approaches behind it. We have failed." "No," Kimberly insisted, desperately searching through their merged knowledge for a solution. The records of the last invasion, 10,000 years ago. How did the final pair succeed? Princess Lyra accessed the ancient memories, the last bonded pair. They sacrificed themselves, channeled their life force directly into the weapon. Can we do that? We can, but we will not survive. Kimberly considered for a millisecond that felt like eternity. There was no real choice. Earth, Xeria. Billions of lives against their 2. "Do it," she commanded with all her remaining strength. They pulled the last reserves of the defense grid into themselves. Then they began drawing on their own life energy, their merged consciousness directing it into a final desperate attack. As the 7th Void Eater breached the atmosphere, the creature absorbed their initial strike, growing stronger, feeding on their energy. "It's not working," Kimberly realized in horror. "Wait," Princess Lyra commanded. "Look beyond the darkness." Kimberly focused their merged perception, seeking the creature's core. Instead of attacking its darkness, they searched for its center, the nexus of anti-light that formed its heart. There, Princess Lyra identified a pulsing void at the creature's center. Its true form. They gathered their remaining strength, channeling it with perfect precision, no longer trying to overwhelm the creature with raw power, but targeting its vital center with a needle-thin beam of concentrated energy. The Void Eater convulsed its darkness, contracting violently around the wound. The energy beam pierced through, connecting with its heart. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the creature imploded, collapsing into itself with a soundless flash that temporarily blinded every sensor in the defense grid. They had no time to celebrate. The Void Mother had arrived, its presence dwarfed its children, its consciousness vast and ancient enough to have witnessed the birth of stars, its hunger endless and absolute space itself, warped around its form as it approached Xeria. "We have nothing left," Princess Lyra whispered in their merged mind. "No energy, no defense, not even enough life force for another strike." Kimberly refused to accept defeat. "There must be something else. Some power we haven't tried. There is nothing." The princess' sorrow flowed through their bond. "I am sorry I brought you into this, only to fail." As their merged consciousness began to fade, returning to their separate bodies in preparation for death, Kimberly noticed something strange. A tiny spark of energy, unlike anything they had channeled before. It pulsed between their merged minds, neither Xerian nor human, but something new. "What is that?" she asked. Princess Lyra focused on the spark. "I don't know. It's not from the defense grid or our life force. It's coming from the bond itself. The bond, yes. It's growing stronger as we fade. Almost as if our surrender is feeding it." Princess Lyra realized our acceptance of death, our willingness to sacrifice. On instinct, they both released their hold on life, completely surrendering to whatever would come. The spark exploded into blinding light, filling their merged consciousness with power beyond anything they had experienced. This is it. Princess Lyra understood suddenly the true power of the bonded pair. Not just combined energy, but combined sacrifice. The ultimate gift. Together they channeled this new power outward, not as a weapon, but as a wave of creation. The antithesis of the Void Eaters, anti-light. The energy expanded from the planet in a sphere of pure radiance. The wave of creation struck the Void Mother. Its darkness trembled as light penetrated every part of its vast form. For a moment the two forces remained in perfect balance, darkness and light, anti-creation and creation. Then slowly the light began to win the void. Mother twisted in dimensions humans could not perceive, its consciousness screaming in frequencies that shook reality. It tried to retreat, to flee back to the space between dimensions, but the light followed, holding it in this reality. Through their merged consciousness, Princess Lyra and Kimberly felt the ancient being weakening, its hunger that had consumed countless worlds across billions of years, finally meeting its match. The Void Mother had never encountered the power of willing sacrifice, the energy of two souls choosing to give everything for others. With a final surge of their combined will, they pushed the light deeper into the void. Mother's heart. The creature shuddered one final time, then exploded into countless motes of darkness that dissipated like smoke in wind. It's gone, Kimberly whispered in their shared mind. We did it. Princess Lyra shared her wonder and relief, but as the energy faded, they felt themselves slipping away. The sacrifice had been real. Their life force nearly depleted their physical bodies, barely functioning. I regret nothing, the princess communicated as darkness crept into the edges of their consciousness. You came to me from across the stars. My true bonded, my savior, my friend. Kimberly felt a profound peace even as she sensed death approaching. I found where I belong, she replied. In the strangest place imaginable. The only place I ever truly fit was with you, an alien princess worlds away from home. Their merged consciousness began to separate, their bond weakening as their life forces dimmed. Then suddenly a new energy surrounded them, ancient, yet familiar. The elders had formed a circle around their physical bodies, pouring their own life force into the bonded pair. No, Elder Maya commanded, her mental voice stern, do not surrender, we need you still. The 13 give freely what we have left. Take it, live. The elders' own life, energy flowed into them. 13 ancient Xerians who had lived for centuries, willingly giving their remaining years to the bonded pair who had saved their world. The transfer was swift and complete. Before Princess Lyra and Kimberly could protest, the elders had collapsed, their bodies turning to crystalline dust as their consciousness faded. Live. Well, with our gift, Elder Maya's final thought echoed. Lead our people into the new age, bonded ones. Kimberly awoke in her physical body, gasping as sensation returned. The control nexus was silent, the crystal structures dark and dormant. Princess Lyra lay beside her, still unconscious but breathing steadily. The elders were gone, only piles of crystal dust marking where they had stood. Kimberly gently touched the princess' face, tracing the constellation patterns on her skin. Live, she whispered. Please. Live. Princess Lyra's galaxy eyes fluttered open, focusing slowly on Kimberly. We survived, she said in wonder. Her mental voice still echoed in Kimberly's mind, but fainter now. Their bond changed by their ordeal, the elders. They gave everything, Princess, Lyra confirmed softly. A final sacrifice to ensure our survival. They lay there for a long moment, holding each other as the reality of what had happened settled over them. They had faced cosmic horror and survived. The Void Eaters were gone. Xeria was safe. Earth was safe. But at tremendous cost. Eventually they helped each other stand, leaning on one another as they made their way to the observation platform. The defense grid had collapsed entirely. Ancient crystals shattered beyond repair, the landscape was transformed, entire regions reshaped by the battle. The twin suns shone on a wounded but surviving world. What happens now? Kimberly asked. Princess Lyra looked out over her changed planet. "We rebuild," she said simply. "We honor those who fell. We create something new." The prophecy spoke not just of defeating the darkness but of what comes after, a union of worlds, a sharing of knowledge and culture. A new golden age. Kimberly considered this Earth and Xeria united through their bond. No longer would humans look to the stars and wonder if they were alone. No longer would Xerians hide their ancient wisdom from the younger species. "Will we stay bonded?" she asked hesitantly. "The elders are gone. No one remains who understands the bond, fully. What if it fades?" Princess Lyra turned to her starfield eyes serious. "Our bond has changed, yes. The celestial merge altered it permanently, but it didn't weaken it, it transformed it. We are no longer simply Xerian and human. We are something new, something between." Kimberly felt the truth of this in her mind, where the princess presence remained a warm, constant glow. Would she ever be fully separate again? Did she want to be? 6 months later, Kimberly stood on the rebuilt central balcony of the royal palace watching as the first official delegation from Earth arrived. The massive transport ship descended gracefully, guided by Xerian technology. Ambassador Walters had returned to Earth after the battle, carrying tales of the Void Eaters and the bonded pair who had saved 2 worlds. Now she returned with scientists, diplomats, and cultural envoys, all eager to establish formal relations with Xeria. The fear and suspicion that had marked first contact was gone, replaced by gratitude and curiosity. Princess Lyra joined Kimberly at the balcony, her formal robes shimmering in the sunlight. Her face remained unveiled, now a symbol of the new age. Her mixed heritage, once hidden in shame, now celebrated as the salvation of 2 worlds. "Are you nervous?" the princess asked through their bond. A little, Kimberly admitted. "My parents are on that ship. They still don't quite understand what happened to me." Princess Lyra took her hand. "They will see what I saw. A brave soul willing to step into the unknown. A human who saved worlds." The ship landed on the crystal platform below them, the diplomatic party emerging with expressions of wonder as they beheld the alien landscape. For the first time, Kimberly spotted her parents immediately. Her mother clutching her father's arm as they stared up at the obsidian palace. They looked terrified, Kimberly noted with amusement. "They will adjust," Princess Lyra replied with affection. "Just as you did." Together they descended to greet the visitors. There, bonded minds sharing thoughts and emotions as naturally as breathing, their destinies permanently intertwined. The human and the alien princess who had faced the darkness and found light in each other. As Kimberly embraced her tearful parents, she felt Princess Lyra's warm presence in her mind. The stars had brought them together across impossible distances. Fate had bound them through ancient prophecy, but love had made them choose to stay. A librarian from Portland and a veiled princess from the stars, creating a future neither could have imagined alone.